Cremations in Ladakh are performed as fire offerings. In order that he may no longer cling to his former body, and so that his relatives and loved ones may release him from the bonds of their attachment to him, his body is offered to the fire. The substances that are offered with the body, butter, oil, sugar, and various grains, represent everything that is desirable, sustaining, and virtuous in this world. To complete this process, Palden Sering's possessions were donated to the monastery. The day after the cremation, the monks auctioned them off to the people of the village. Two days later, Palden Sering's sons carry his ashes up the mountain and leave them to the elements. Palden Sering, listen without distraction. The body which you had in this life is becoming indistinct to you, and the body you will have in your future life is becoming clear. As you sense this, you will become frightened and sad. There is no place for you to rest, and no stopping place in your ceaseless wandering. You do not care what your next life will bring as long as you will be born soon, and so you approach anything that appears before you. Take care, Palden Sering. Do not be afraid. Look for a good human birth, where you may yet recognize your own true nature. The 14th Dalai Lama now resides here in Dharamsala, India. He was born in 1935 and was recognized 5 years later as the incarnation of the previous Dalai Lama. As a young boy, he could recognize people who were familiar to his predecessor and select objects which he had used. After his formal recognition, he was rigorously trained and assumed full spiritual and temporal authority as leader of the Tibetan state in 1950 at the age of 15.
If you accept, if you believe, if you accept, you see, life, continuation of life, then death is just, you see, one occasion. Like, you see, they're changing when your clothes become, old, and then, you see, the old cloth, you see, throw away and take, you see, new, nice, you see, cloth. Similarly, this old body cannot function properly, then change the new body, more energetic, more fresh body.
Sokrapa was shot by an Indian policeman 11 years ago while participating in a demonstration for the improvement of labor conditions in Ladakh. 2,000 people from all over the country attended his funeral. Subsequently, the Indian government acceded to the demand for improved conditions, and Sokrapa became a national hero. We have confirmed that this boy is the reincarnation of the monk Sokrapa. All Ladakh is very happy. Sokrapa's incarnation, Zopa, is the youngest son of a poor farming family and was discovered in Sokrapa's own village. When he was born, he had a bruise on his side which did not go away for a very long time. He said that he had hit by a bullet and it hurt him. The bruise was on the same place where Sokrapa was shot. When Zopa was 2 years old, he said he wanted to meet his aunt. But the aunt he was referring to was Sokrapa's aunt, who had raised Sokrapa as a child and had lived with him. When he visited her, Zopa was able to identify all the objects which Sokrapa had regularly used. My nephew Sokrapa was a pure-hearted, virtuous person who always thought about other people. Because he was a good man, he has found a good rebirth. When Zopa was 8 years old, the village gathered funds to send him to be trained at Sera Monastery in Mysore, India. Sera, formerly a major monastery in Tibet, gives special attention to the traditions of debate, logic, and chanting Buddhist texts. The people of Ladakh hope that Zopa will one day return to his country as a future leader. On the final day of reading the Bardo Total, the entire family gathers to pray that Palden Sering will find a fortunate birth. Palden Sering, listen without distraction. You have not recognized your own nature, and now you will once again experience all the painful uncertainties of birth and death. Give up anger, give up attachment, and give up yearning for relatives and friends. Take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. With your head held high, enter the human realm. I am very happy that we have been able to offer all these prayers and this reading to help my father. We have done all that can be done for Palden Sering. And all the ceremonies and readings have been done properly. I feel that Palden Sering has found a human birth. But I don't know in what circumstances he may have been born. The Tibetan Book of the Dead presents the states of dying and after death as a continuous possibility. We can become frozen in our attachment and fear, or we can recognize the liberation of our true nature. The Tibetan Book of the Dead shows that this opportunity is available to us in every moment of life and death.
The heavy body of flesh and blood and bones has within it this body of consciousness, this body of light. Becoming this body of light so that you can just dissolve into this sense of light. The solid body remains here, but you are becoming this pure light, dissolving into your heart, dissolving into your heart with each breath. Each time you breathe out, it's as if it were your last breath. Expanding into a larger and larger sense of spaciousness. Nothing to hold on to. Beyond the mind, beyond the body, floating free in space, totally safe. Any distraction dissolving back into the heart. Floating free. Nice?
You know how many tapes are you talking like this to give?
I don't have any tapes.
Oh,
No.
I'd like to play it a few times.
Something which difficult to handle. Now that, if you prepare that, you know it. Now, such is a time. I will face the terrible situation, and knowing it, and prepare for it. Then when actually you see that happen, you already accepted, you already prepare for it. So much easier to handle.
And I accept that actually. And it's not like it's an awful thing, you see. And if you can get to that point, you face death a lot. Because it's just another thing along the way. And
sometimes I also, have some kind of excited feeling towards death. Now, because, in my daily prayer, they deal with, the death process and the Partu process and next life. So therefore, when I sometimes think about death, then I got some kind of excitement. Whether really I can utilize these practice fully at that moment or no.
Stangen's great-granddaughter, who was married into a family in a distant village, comes to visit him. Grandpa, how are you? Here's my son.